It's the grandson of Right Thought. It's easy for us to get caught up in all the negativity. It's easy for us to get caught up in the sadness, in the drama, the heartache of this life. Because indeed, in this life, you will have those things. And for anybody to tell you that you won't would just be lying to you and not loving you. You see? And because those hurtful things seem to be so often in our lives, those stressful circumstances, the drama, the vexation, sometimes it's so heavy and it's so often that it's hard to remember the promises. It's difficult to remember the promises. And see, a lot of people don't even know the promises. So how can they hang on to something that they don't know exists? They don't know what Abba has promised us. So they don't know how to endure. See, you endure when you have knowledge of the end. You can endure. When you know that there's an end in sight and there's a reason for the race you're running. You have a goal in mind. Like Paul said, not fighting like you're beating the air, but like you're training for a result. And the result is our promises. That's why we hang on to the commandments of the Most High. That's why we forgive when it's so easy to just lash back. That's why we take the high road when it's just so much simpler sometimes to take the low road. Because of his promises, and we remember them. In those times when you feel low, in those times when you feel damn near broken, lift your eyes up to your Father and remember his promises. And tell your Father about his promises. Don't be afraid of your Father. A lot of y'all have been standing afar off from Abba because of your fear. But perfect love casts out fear. So perfectly love your Father. You don't have anything to hide because you can't hide anyway. There's no need for shame because you can't hide anything anyway. So it's best to just come to the Father bearing yourself openly and freely, knowing that he already knows before you come to him everything about you. He knows your pain. He knows your suffering and sadness. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. And in order to have faith, you must believe that he is. See, you have to believe that Abba exists. That's faith. Believing that Abba exists and believing that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Do you diligently seek Abba today? Every day? Do you wake up in the morning seeking your Father's face? Do you go to sleep at night seeking your Father's face? The first and the last. Is he your first and last? Or is he your second and second to last? You understand that? How deep that is, that question? Is he your first or your second? Is he your last or your second to last? Because whoever is your first and your last is your God. So whenever a problem arises, if the first thing you run to is your money, then money is your God. If the last thing that you run to is your money, then money is your God. When problems arise, if the first thing you resort to is violence, then violence is your God. If the last thing you resort to is violence, then violence is your God. Whatever source you seek out is your God. So it's best that you seek out Abba in all things, not some, in every single thing that you do. Because you don't know what tomorrow holds. It's enough trouble in today. And when human beings become prideful, they tend to forget that it can all change in a heartbeat and that they don't have control over their own lives. Human beings think that they do, but they don't. Their pride deceives them into thinking that. So you being set apart or set outside of this world, separated from this world, you can't possibly think that you can live like everybody else and find what it is you're looking for. I mean, isn't it such an interesting thing when you say, okay, I've given my life to Christ? All of you who are listening to me, that has to be the case with you, or you wouldn't be listening to me because that's all I talk about is Christ, right? So you who say you've given your life to Christ, isn't it interesting when he says, I am not of this world, neither are they that believe on me of this world, and the ones that I've chosen out of the world. So the world hates them because they are not of the world. Isn't it an interesting thing when you finally let that settle into your psyche? That you are hated, you are separated, and you ain't like the world. You ain't like worldly folk. And they know you ain't, so they hate you for it. And there's nothing you can do to change that. I told you, you can be in a circumstance and be perfect, and they will still cast you out. Without a cause, you see? That's why it doesn't matter if you act perfect with the world. You still don't believe that. You still don't believe the vanity of searching for their approval of you, the world's approval. See, because watch. When you go, anywhere you go, and say it's a nice event, and you get dressed up really nicely for the event, you get dressed up really nicely so that people will look at you and wonder at you and marvel at you and tell you how good you look. Outwardly, correct? When you get a woman in this world, you try to get the most beautiful, attractive, appealing woman that you can, so that when you show up with her on your arm, people say, wow, how is this beautiful woman with this man? There must be something magical about this man for a woman like that to want to be with him. See? That's the intention. And that's what separates you from the world, is your intention for why you do the thing that you do. Simple as that, elect. Why you have done what you've done is totally different than the next man. You did it out of love. The other person did it out of perpetrating, faking, self-gain, manipulation, trickery, mirroring, gaslighting. That's why they do the shit they do. You do it just strictly off of kindness, mercy, love, truth. They don't. So they hate you for that. Isn't it easy to understand? And that's the thing that you have to keep in mind when you're in this world, so that you remember to always look back at Abba's promises. Because otherwise, if you don't, then you will perish. And I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to use words that are dramatic or nothing. You will perish, nigga. You die. It's that simple. Because you won't be able to endure. You won't. And the only thing that you have is Abba's promises. And if you don't know Abba's promises, then you don't have shit. That's why I'm saying you'll perish. You won't have anything to hang on to when you lose the material things you thought were important. Like I said, remember the nice clothes I told you about? When you lose the shit. Remember the nice woman I told you about in your arm? When you lose her. Remember the nice house and the cars and everything you had to have a status symbol in this world? When you lose that, then what are you? Then what are you going to be saying about I am? See, because when everything is good, you're saying, oh, I am blessed. I'm good. I'm well. I'm that. I'm this. But the moment you lose your material shit, your I am changes. So are you really those things, or do you just think you are because of that shit you got? Because when it all falls down, I don't know what you niggas gonna do. I don't. I have great what did Paul says? What's the word he used? He said, I have great sorrow, continual sorrow from my kins, my brothers, by the flesh, who are Israelites. My flesh and blood, 3D people. I have continual sorrow in my heart for them. You see? Continual. So the only thing that will keep you joyful, peaceful, not malicious and bitter, the only thing that will keep you that way is Abba Yah's promises of salvation. So if you don't think there is a God, then how can you get salvation from him? You can't. So that's why he said what he said about faith. Gotta have faith. You gotta believe that he is. You gotta believe Abba exists, man. And then you gotta believe he'll give you what he promised he will. And he swore with his right hand that he was going to give me what he said he was going to give me. So I don't doubt it. Even though at times it gets frustrating in this world. At times it gets damn overwhelming at times to make you want to pull your hair out, make you want to just yell, make you want to scream, make you want to cry, make you just want to throw yourself in front of traffic, make you just want to say fuck it and blow your own fucking head off sometimes. And that's just true. Sometimes this life will push you that fucking far. The stress, the pain, the backstabbing, the lying, the deceit, the heartlessness of people in this world. How they'll just put you out. How they'll just cast you to the side and say, man, hey, long as my day is good, I hope you have a good one, even though they see you're suffering. They walk away and just give you hope. Hey, I hope you do better, man. But if you don't give him the thing that he needs, then what kind of love is that? You don't give him the thing profitable that he needs, then what kind of love is that? To say be blessed and don't give him nothing. And that's what this world does, man. You gotta basically, a man can't just see you in a hard case and help you. You gotta tell him all about your hard case. And then half the time he don't even want to fucking listen to your hard case enough to really fucking help you, man. That's how this world is. Cold-hearted, calloused, uncircumcised in the heart. You can't even see their heart. It's so covered with the fucking foreskin. You can't even see it. So y'all know I ain't lying about nothing. The only thing you got out here is Abba Yah's word. His word is where the promises is, ain't it? In order for you to know Abba's promises, you got to go to his word and search his word and see what it say. That the wicked will be purged from the face of this earth, and the elements will be on fire with fervent heat, and everything will melt. And in its place will be a new heaven and a new earth, spoken of by the prophets, spoken of in the New Testament as well. And where righteousness dwells, where truth, which has so long been cast down without fruit, now bursts forth like lightning. In the twinkling of an eye, you shall be changed. And when you behold your Lord and Savior in his glory, you shall be just like him. If you don't forget that, then you will have it. So when people cast you down, just like they cast down Yahusha, just like they beat him and they spit on him and pulled his beard out of his face. And there was no man marred like this man. Shamed and humiliated for no reason at all. Never did anything wrong to anyone. He never did anything wrong to anybody, y'all. And yet they killed him. They put a crown of thorns and mocked him. Called him names. Said, prophesy unto us. Who hit you? Save yourself. Call your angels to come save you. That's what they did to him. And they spit at him. And they beat him with a rod on his head. They put a robe on him and said, hail to the King of the Jews. You damn right the King of the Jews, bitch. You damn fucking right. You right. So for all those who believe, hang on to his promises today. And don't let them go, because they are your life raft. They are your parachute. They are. Because without them, you have nothing. Because you will soon learn that everything in this world is indeed vanity. It's indeed vanity. Shalom Israel.